Good afternoon. This message will be recorded in two languages, in English and in Russian, and will be addressed to the Moldovan authorities. Добрый день. Это послание будет записано на двух языках, на английском и на русском, и будет адресовано молдавским властям. My name is Levan Vasadze. I am the chairman of Georgian Demographic Society 21, and I am making this statement in support of my good friend, Mr. Iurie Rosca. It is with great concern that many of us have recently learned that our dear friend Iurie Rosca is under legal criminal investigation by Moldovan authorities. The case, as we understand, made against Mr. Rosca concerns accusations of Mr. Rosca's exerting political influence for personal gains. Before making this public statement, in order to learn at first hand the true picture of this case, I made a point of traveling to Moldova, which I love very much, and visiting wonderful Chisinau and meeting with my friend Iurie Rosca last week. I reviewed the materials that Mr. Rosca has in his hands that pertain to the case being made against him, and studied them to the best of my ability. And although I am not a legal expert or a prosecutor, based on my personal experience of law, and including international law, I can state with all responsibility that the case against Mr. Rosca appears to be artificially and politically motivated. Mr. Rosca is known around the world as the most, perhaps, famous Moldovan conservative thinker and patriot. He has visited us in Georgia in 2016 when we held the World Congress of Families number 10 in Tbilisi, and we have visited him on two occasions before this one in Chisinau to participate in an intellectual forum which Mr. Rosca has organized regarding Moldovan place in international geopolitics. Mr. Rosca is known to many European, Asian, American, former Soviet countries' intellectuals as a true conservative, a true patriot of his country, devoted to development of Moldovan statehood, to development of family-based, tradition-based Moldova, and to reunification of Moldova, including Transnistria, under the philosophy of balance between the East and the West. We are left to speculate what might be the reasons motivating some forces in Moldovan society to drive or to press these what appears to be artificial charges against Mr. Rosca, but we assure you that for many intellectuals around the world, Mr. Rosca is Moldova, and by persecuting and by legally oppressing freedom of speech in the face of Mr. Rosca and freedom of conscience, those who are doing this will only be harming the reputation of Moldova in the eyes of international traditionalist and conservative society. If, God forbid, any harm comes to Mr. Rosca as a result of these accusations, Mr. Rosca will not be forgotten by the international community and will be strongly supported, as he is being right now, by all of us. As a citizen and patriot of Georgia, let me share with you also one very relevant experience. We too in Georgia underwent a period of boundless liberal aggression by careless protagonists of globalism in Georgia under the rule of President Saakashvili and his regime, who became famous around the world for also persecuting freedom of speech, freedom of thought, and turning Georgia during the 9 years of his reign into essentially a liberal dictatorship. As a result of this experiment, Mr. Saakashvili is under criminal investigation and hiding from his country as we speak. And the same destiny awaits all of his henchmen who have pursued these indecent political tyrannic goals at the cost of safety of their citizens and at the cost of oppressing freedom of speech in Georgia. I am left with the impression that if Moldova chooses to follow the similar path, those who undertake these actions against notable, respectable social thinkers, figures, politicians, journalists, and intellectuals, such as Iurie Rosca, will share the same destiny as the representatives of the regime of Mr. Saakashvili. It is my humble advice and friendly suggestion to the current Moldovan authorities: do not follow the Georgian example in this case, and do not go down this path of oppressing free speech. I am not here to interfere with the internal affairs of Moldovan state and Moldovan people, whom I love and respect very much. I am just here to share with you my opinion of a Georgian patriot who loves your country very much. I sincerely hope that the pending investigation towards Iurie Rosca will be carried out not in accordance with the violations of international and Moldovan law, which I have witnessed in the materials of his case so far, but in accordance with the strict standards of Moldovan and international law, and that the truth will be cleared and the good name of Iurie Rosca will be cleared.